Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back, or welcome to another Bangs audio review. Today we're going to talk about the SHOZY P10, which is, and I quote, a symphony of innovation and craftsmanship, planar plus DD composite driver structure, tri-vent pressure control for sonic precision. I'm stopping there. Okay. So apparently this driver is a composite driver. Somehow a planar and dynamic composite driver. I'm not really sure what that means, and I couldn't really find much information on it. But it's different. Is it coaxial? Is it actually two drivers? Is it isobaric? What's the configuration? Not really sure, honestly. It's $109. It has an impedance of 105 sensitivity. Frequency 20 to 20. No indication of impedance anywhere that I could find. So on the surface, it looks like sort of a standard, but at the, I really don't know what kind of driver that is. It does sound good, I'll give it that. But that took a minute, and we'll get to it. Fans of the unboxing experience are going to be disappointed, because this box, as you can tell, is, well, crap, pretty much. Ripped the first time I tried to take it out. I mean, this is about as flimsy as you can get, honestly. So, I mean, I'm all about minimalism and saving the planet, not, wasting materials, but there is kind of a limit to my tolerance of that, and for $109, I feel like they could have done better. However, inside is a fairly nice case, not luxe, but nice. And inside that case, which has a nice zipper on it too. See, there's SHOZY across the center there. I just zipped it instead of unzipping it. So yeah, I have opened it, but you could tell anyway. IEMs. They come in blue and green. I got the blue. I have greens already. I have my Ulims. Those are really nice green. These are very, very nice blue. Almost prefer them to the Truth Air Nova blue, honestly, or just the way that they are. Anyway, there's the tri-vent system right there too, which is indicated in the description. The cable is nothing to write home about. Maybe a little disappointed for the price, but at the same time, it is fully functional. It is not stiff. There's no memory. It's not tangly. It gets the job done. It comes in a 3.5 millimeter termination, which, I mean, despite the 105 listed on the technical specs, these things are freaking sensitive. They get loud, and they get loud pretty fast. So there is no need to go to a 4.4 balanced. I don't think it'll do the IEMs any favors to do that, to be honest with you. So cable, good enough. IEMs, really pretty. Definitely 3D printed resin on that. And then you get pretty wide selection of tips. So translucent tips in, I'd say, 5 sizes: small, medium, large, and large. That's a nice touch. Then you get the dark gray tips, which are wider bore. Those are fine too. 3 sizes there. And these little suckers came in there, which I was really happy about. They have a little texture similar to the Asla Cristal tips. And they provided the best seal, the most comfort, and I think the best sound of any of the included tips. So we're going all stock on this review, which I know people appreciate, because not everybody likes to mod or tinker. I do, but not everybody does, and it does, incur more cost. Add more cost to the set. With these guys, I would say you're pretty much good to go with them as they come. So, SHOZY. These guys were, I guess they were kind of hot about 3-4 years ago, and then kind of fell off the face of the earth there for a while. And they have now been attempting a comeback. And based just on the sound of these, I would say that they're headed in the right direction. I do, and I will get into some more details. I won't just say I like them, they are good, buy them, and please use my affiliate link, because I think that's what some people think that I do, but I don't. In fact, at the end of it, I will make sure that there is a link to Hi-Fi Go, where I purchased them, a link to Amazon, which they are available on, and my affiliate link to Linsol, and then you can have a choice as to where you buy them. So that's that. Before we go further, there's a couple of cautionary tales that I think need to be talked about, and I haven't talked about really any of this on my channel, so I'm going to start with SHOZY. A few days ago, ShortBus, whose video will be linked in the description, and I suggest that you watch it because it is eye-opening, for sure. God bless him. He trusted his ears, trusted his gut, and he was right. SHOZY released the P20 along with the P10. The P20 was touted as a large dynamic driver, 14.5 millimeters, which some of you probably already know where this is headed based on the driver size. When ShortBus listened to the IEM, he thought that this is not a dynamic driver, this is a planar. They're calling it a dynamic driver. Let's open it up and find out. So he went through the nozzle, which probably was a lot easier to do than this one, but maybe not. I would say very deftly went through the nozzle. Didn't damage anything, looked like it could fully be put back together, no problem. And lo and behold, inside of that shell was a 14.5 millimeter planar magnetic driver. In the few days following the video, the past few days, all of the marketing on all of the sites that were selling this IEM have been changed from large dynamic driver to planar magnetic driver. He frickin' called it. Strike one. Actually, strike 2 and 3 for a lot of people, but at least strike 1 for me, maybe strike 2. That was already on my mind before I reviewed these. Strike 2. This is more my fault. I was listening to other IEMs before they came. The Chopin, the Canera Iden Golden. And when they did come via US mail later in the day, probably had some ear fatigue and was listening to very good and very different IEMs than what these are. So when I listened to them and I felt like they sounded like crap, that was not really fair. Strike 3. There's going to be 4 strikes. Strike 3 was the unboxing experience, which, coupled with the recent revelation of the P20, just made me feel even worse about my decision to purchase them, because the unboxing was, well, just cheap. You want a little bit more than that. If these were $25, then fine, but they're $109, so okay. Shouldn't really matter, but it may have colored my opinion. I'm just saying. Strike 4 was my choice of music to listen to them with for the first time. And I'm an album guy. When I first get IEMs, I put an album on and see how it does. And yes, the albums I typically listen to are metal. They are either Emperor of Sand or Once More Around the Sun by Mastodon, either Fear Inoculum or 10,000 Days from Tool, and either Abzen, the remastered version of Abzen in high res, or Immutable from Meshuggah. I was feeling rather spicy already, and so I said, all right, let's see how they handle Meshuggah. So I put in Abzen. They did not like it. Not one bit. I was like, okay, this set sucks. And I contacted Hi-Fi Go, and I said I want to send these back, and awaited their response. Thankfully, there's a time difference, like 14 hours. So I'm not sure what time it was when I sent that, but it was not a time when they were responding. So I went to bed thinking that when I woke up in the morning, I would have a repack to do and a trip to UPS or the post office or somehow to DHL or whatever to get them going back where they came from. Woke up in the morning, said, okay, I'm going to give these guys another shot because that's not really fair. There were too many things working against them for me to give them a fair listen. And what happened was they ended up being really good. Now, not good for metal. That still holds true. But for just about everything else on my test track list, they did exceptionally well. So here are a couple of characteristics on these that, for me, kind of separate them and also make room for them in my collection. One is the soundstage is super impressive. It is wide and it is deep. And that, by deep, I mean height and depth. So the bass you can feel in your chest, the height goes above your head, and the width definitely goes out from just where your ears are. So they've got a really kind of expansive, immersive feel to them when you're playing the right music through them, which metal is not. I will say one more time. But listen, that's the last time I'll say it. If you don't listen to metal, you don't have to worry about it. These will work just fine. The other part of it was they have really good detail retrieval. And that is hard to do when an IM is not super bright or has super extended treble. And these aren't super bright and they don't have a super extended energetic treble. And yet they were still pulling details out that I knew were there, but was not expecting to hear based on the overall tuning of the IM. But yet, there they were. So, if you listen to jazz, if you listen to classical, if you listen to pop, if you listen to rock, not metal, rock, if you listen to R&B, hip-hop, and rap, ambient music, things like that, these are a good fit. They're going to sound good with what you listen to. Really kind of impressively good for what you with what you listen to. Some of my favorite tracks, like out of the test tracks, Subterranean Homesick Alien off of OK Computer from Radiohead is a very ethereal track. There's lots of stuff going on. There's lots of panning. There's lots of just kind of really cool effects in that song with guitars, with Tom's voice, etc. And it presented that beautifully. Switch over to Virginia Beach by excuse me, by Drake, and that sub bass hits like a truck, but still leaves everything else clear and audible and not dirty. There's no bleed, is what I'm trying to say. Rihanna's voice sounded wonderful in Diamonds and Umbrella. Pink's voice equally as good on Try. Melody Gardot, sweet as ever. Anna Netrebko, amazing on Dido's Lament. This set does a lot of things really, really well, and very few things not well. And if you aren't listening to those things it doesn't do well, then you're all set. Because the only area it really struggles in is going to be the pinna gain, right? When we're going up from the mids into the upper mids in that 2 to 3K area, that 2 to 3K range, it's just a bit congested there. So if you've got electric guitars with distortion pedals firing away, yeah, it's a little bit too much. And also in the upper treble, if you've got too many cymbal strikes happening at once, it's a little bit too much. Other than that, you're good. So I ended up really liking this set after really not giving him a chance. And I'm glad I gave him a second chance. Now, sorry, I'm a little stuffy. Here are the cautionary tales, and these are important, so I hope you stay with me. SHOZY's attempt to deceive their consumers, their customers, is reproachful. That alone would be enough for me not to buy another thing from them. I will liken this to the same thing that Heidi's did with the MP145 and their silent revision. Okay? If you want to keep customers, be freaking honest with them. If you want them to stay customers, be honest with them. Okay? Don't market something as a dynamic driver when it's a planar magnetic driver, and you know damn well it's a planar magnetic driver because you put it in there. And don't tell me that somehow it got through marketing and that it was an error, because that is bullshit. What you thought was that that set would be more marketable as a dynamic driver than it would be as a planar. You would gain a wider audience and have more sales if you marketed it as an ultra large dynamic driver. The sad thing is that according to ShortBus, that set sounds freaking fantastic. Doesn't really matter now, does it? Okay? So you've lost people's trust. It's really hard to get that back, right? Heidi's, same thing. They were already struggling because of the whole charity debacle, and they were accused of scamming people and not contributing to the whales and all of that stuff, and I guess more or less got cleared up, and they did make some sort of contribution, but it was still kind of soured the whole thing around the MP145, which was, a planar, but that's at least marketed as something that it was. But then, after its release in the end of October, come along January, and they did a silent revision. This isn't an alleged silent revision. It is a silent revision. It's been verified. I can just go to Amazon and tell you that it's real because there are two different products listed. One of them has a release date of October 23rd, 2023, and the other one has a release date of January 13th, 2024. Their frontline prices are different. Their discounts are different. They both come out to $140. They have different SKUs. Okay? So obviously, Amazon got the first run, still has some at last check, and then got the second run. And Amazon is smart. They're not going to open themselves up to a lawsuit for false advertising or misleading consumers. They're like, oh, this is different? Well, guess what? It's going to be different on the website. If this is a different product, it's going to have a different SKU than the original, and the release date is going to reflect when we first started selling it as a different product. So, not that Amazon needs any props, but hey, props to Amazon for keeping it truthful. Those are two huge problems, okay? And they're probably not the only things that have gone on, and people just haven't caught them. But guess what, guys? People are looking now, okay? This is a niche hobby with a niche following. That doesn't mean that you have us by the balls, and it doesn't mean that we have our blinders on. We're watching, okay? We're looking for this stuff. And it doesn't play. And if you fuck us, fuck you. We're not going to support you any longer. We're not going to buy your products. So I'm a little bit, as you can tell, conflicted about recommending the SHOZY. Not because of how it sounds wonderful. Not because of what it costs. The cost is absolutely reasonable for the quality that you get. Is what's going on with the company and how they've handled themselves. So I guess I'm saying until I see an actual statement from SHOZY admitting their wrongdoing, an apology, and saying, hey, We won't do it again. And I don't even care if they lie and say this was a mistake by marketing, whatever. Apologize. The first step is admitting you did something wrong and apologizing. If you do that, I'll recommend your product. Don't fucking do it again. Same to you, Heidi's. Same to you. All right? Now, that rant's over. One more rant. This is important. Maybe not as important, but it's still important. If you buy from a company based in China, you need to know this. Okay, this is very, very important because it affects your wallet or your pocketbook or your money clip or whatever it is that you, your bank account. Returns are going to cost you. Okay, because when Hi-Fi Go finally did get back to me regarding the return of the SHOZY P10, their response was, you'll be better off just selling it in your home country, because here's what it's going to cost you to send it back. 35% restocking fee. That's on the website. Round trip shipping. That's on the website. And round trip duties and taxes. Also on the website. Now, they don't have exact numbers or costs for those because they're going to vary from country to country and from product to product. IEMs will obviously be less to ship than headphones. However, it does state very clearly that the customer will incur those costs unless the product is defective. Because the SHOZY wasn't defective, I just didn't like it when I first tried it, that cost was going to be passed along to me. That cost was $145. The IEMs were $110. What do you think I was going to do? Thank God I tried him again before I got that email. I still fired back something like, this is BS, but then, yeah, I apologized for it. I understand where they're coming from. They're not Walmart, they're not Amazon, they're not Target, they're not Best Buy. They can't afford to absorb those costs. Plain and simple, they just can't. Their suppliers, like the manufacturers, they charge Hi-Fi Go the restocking fee. They're just trying to recoup it from them, because that's what the manufacturer is going to collect for sending product back that is not damaged or defective. Okay? So I understand it, I respect it, but what does that mean for us? That means that if you're ordering from Hi-Fi Go, if you're ordering from Shenzhen Audio, if you're ordering through my affiliate link with Linsole, you better be sure that you're going to keep the product, because you're not going to be sending it back. Who wants to spend $140 to send something back? I don't care if it costs $100, $200, $500, or $1,000. You don't want to spend $145 on sending something back. And it might even be more than that, depending on what you get, right? So, interest of full transparency and moving forward, there are going to be multiple links supplied in the description for you to purchase the product from, okay? My affiliate link will be there, all right? Regardless of whether Resolve likes it or not, we don't see eye to eye on it. I don't give a shit, okay? He doesn't live my life. I don't live his. They're going to be there. But also, there will be at least one, if not two, other links. As long as the product is available, I will provide additional links. One will be to like a Hi-Fi Go or a Shenzhen, and one will be to Amazon if it's available there. That leaves the choice of where to order it from to you. If you want to support the channel and use the affiliate link and you're confident in your purchase, that's great. If you don't, or you're not, and you want to use somebody else, or just use Amazon, I'm fine with that too. Okay? What's important to me is that you guys are happy, and that's why I spent all of this time ranting on this review, because there's some things that needed to be cleared. Okay? Companies with bad practices need to be called out. I needed to explain myself and where I was coming from with affiliate links, which I did in another video. I needed to explain return policies to companies that are based in China. and have you understand and know that if you buy from them, you're probably not going to be returning anything. I think AliExpress is a pretty good return policy too, if I'm not mistaken. But again, logistics, right? They have their own. What they don't have, they make up in volume. So that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to give these a recommend. I'm going to give them a recommend based on their sound quality and their value. It's up to you whether you can look past the dishonesty that was obvious from SHOZY in the release of the